This is part 2 of making Melodic House Like Mathame. Last week, we started it from a reference track, started building out the instrumentation, and finished it off with coming up with some vocal ideas for the project that fit. This week, we're diving further into the record, and we will maybe finish it off today, or maybe finish it off next time. Let's do it. Okay, I regret to inform you that there was a whole day of sessions where my screen recorder wanted to record the video at potato quality. So I'm not going to show you that part. The record is a lot farther off than where it was in part 1, so I figured instead of just releasing all this low quality video that would be honestly an eyesore to look at as I explain it, I'm going to just walk you through now everything that I did in this episode in that time, including the vocals that I've put in. It kind of sucks that you don't get to see me record it on this side, but I'll do my best to explain it as efficiently as possible. So, the record's called Hello, Good Morning, and it sounds like this. Great. You get the idea. So, as you can see, there has been a lot done to it since then, since the last time we left off from the instrumentation part of it. So, let me see if I can go in as best as possible and explain what I've done so that you can see it. In the future, I will pay very close attention to my exporting quality. It hasn't happened to me yet, so it was bound to happen once. And we'll do, if you are liking the process, leave me a comment and we'll go farther in depth with these and we'll do it again. Same idea, and we'll make sure that the entire way through is proper. Anyway, part 2, I'm just going to go over everything that I've done. So, you saw me put in the kicks. There's been some processing on it with a flattened limiter at the end. Just to squash all the peaks, make sure up here in millimeters it is just hitting the exact same every time. With the bass, there is a sub layer, there is a rolling 16ths, and then there's another one a little bit higher on the next octave up, just providing some additional harmonics. I've also added in a counter bass. Just kind of plays along with the bass line. So all that with the kick. Now most of them will have a submerge, which is my sidechain to the kick on it. Submerge is a plugin by Slate Digital, which I have really started to use instead of the ghost kick method. They're both fine. I just ended up really liking Submerge as far as a sidechaining plugin. You could also use something like LFO Tool, something like that. That'll be on every single one of them, making sure that the kick and the bass are slotted nicely together, and then also on the counter bass. On the bass group as well, I put another Submerge just on the end, very, very lightly, so that the entire group gets ducked a bit more. I figured, and as I was playing it and I was listening to it and producing it, it needed that a little bit extra clarity in the kick, so one more Submerge. Moving on, all the drum elements. Let's just loop in the kick and the bass group. The clap. There's a super plate on it, giving it its room noise, a bunch of other nifty plugins. Always on the group rack. You see me do it all the time. Glue compressor. Now let's just add in the hats as I loop this section. Great, a couple different layers of hats. Shaker, just to provide that kind of dancey motion. All of my fills. different layers, one kind of low mid, and then one kind of high mid. Main lead. You saw me do this one as well. That's all in here. And for this, there's off as one, layered with this one. And then together. They're both coming from Serum 2. And then panning beats. Giving it a little bit of a spacey feeling. Now I wanted to add something on the counter bass. The counter bass was working well as far as a feeling goes, but I wanted to bring a little bit more life to it and put more attention on it. So I went in and I added on top of the counter bass. So it's doing the same thing that the counter bass is doing on some of the notes and then leaving it alone. I want to draw attention to it and then also have it be subtly there as well. Something else I also did with this counter bass that you don't see here is I took this counter bass sound, I duplicated it into a new channel, and threw Transit 2 on it, which is not Transit 2, Tantra 2. And Tantra 2 is basically a plugin that kind of warps and distorts and crazy effects and a lot of randomization options. And I ended up finding one that I really liked and then bouncing it down to audio. So that's this one here as I sit here and solo it. I'll solo that. Things like this. So that came off of this sound. And then ran through different delays, reverbs, reverses, all of these in Tantra 2, and then bounced it down to audio. And the way you do that is you would go here, you would freeze the track. Might take a second. And then it'll come up all blue. Whenever it's done. And then you would flatten it down here. And then it just punches it all out to audio. So I don't need to do that right now. I'm just going to unfreeze it. Moving on, lots of different effects, risers and things like that. Lots of layering up on sounds, different down sweeps, different short risers, long risers. There's noise risers with tonal risers, which are very, very important for your dynamics. Not so much your dynamics, but more the diversity of the sounds. And then the main thing, I think, what everybody wants to really see is the vocals. So it started here. Hello, good morning to you, dear. So I just recorded that myself. I ran a little compression through it, through console, to give you an idea as I was recording it. I ran myself through a Manley Voxbox preamp because it's a lot smoother, and I thought for something like Melodic House in the same world as Mathame, for example, it would sound great, and obviously it did. I have a lot of experience with the Manley Voxbox, so it's a natural go-to. I compressed it with an LA2-way, which is a soft compressor, very lightly as it comes in, just balancing it just a bit. I like to do most of it in the box, but I will print some compression into it, and then some tuning, just ever so slightly. Now, once it's slightly tuned, now I'm not a singer by any means, but with tools like Autotune and Melodyne, you can make a very subpar singer sound pretty good. So I don't have the freeze of that, unfortunately. I wish I could show you Melodyne. If you do want to see me do intensive Melodyne work on a vocal, leave me a comment. and I'll do that for you, and I'll show you a real in-depth on how to use it super well. Anyway, basically, auto-tune drops in first. It tunes it even more if you need it, and then Melodyne will grab all the notes, and then you can just like program the voice yourself, so it's like exactly on pitch or slightly off, or change the format, or you can do a whole bunch of crazy stuff. Now you'll see my stacks here. I actually didn't record these again. It's funny, when I recorded this, I initially meant it as a demo, but I ended up like, or just to see if the vocal was gonna work. It ended up working actually quite well, so I'm gonna leave it. But yeah, so I basically just duplicated these, changed the timing of it so that the frequencies don't line up and you get phase cancellation. So one's 16 milliseconds. They're both 16 milliseconds in front. This is giving it its width. You have 50 on the left speaker, 50 on the right speaker. And then basically what I did was, if I remember correctly, I pitched the cents down. So not even a full semitone, like just the cents. So 7 each. I think the top one's 7 cents up, and 7 cents down. And between that you get this.
Hello, good morning.
Without the quiets. So mono right down the middle.
I said hello, good morning to you. Hello.
I also did a pop delay here, which does this. So together.
Hello, good morning to you, dear.
Now, I think the main thing that everybody wants to look at is the lead vocal chain. Vocals are different. Everybody's vocal is different. The way you process it into a song is different. All of it is different. Now, I do have a processing vocal video, so if you do want to see that up here, yeah, I'll put it right here. But if you want to see more, feel free. Leave me a comment, and I'll go more in depth with it. My vocal chain changes every time. It's the same idea of how to first process the vocals, clean them up, then compress them, then add your interest to them. But the settings will never, ever be the same throughout the entire, anytime you mix a vocal. You're not just slapping on this preset and saying, okay, vocal's great. That's not how that works. So anyway, there's a submerge to make sure it's bouncing off the kick. In dance music, makes it poppier and bouncier. Slight.
Hello, good morning.
Let's turn that off.
To you, dear.
Little roll off. I have a lot of weight to my voice in the lower register, and I wanted to cut that out. Just a little cleaning, a little brightness up here. De-esser, hitting slightly. In band pass, just catching those S's. This is Pro MB. Just once again changing the dynamics of how I sing it. MV2 to bring back a little bit more of the highs. My dynamic compressor here, hitting actually quite hard. Another EQ, just still pulling back a little bit more of that weight to my voice. Black box as my saturator. Another MV. Micro shift makes it sound super weird. And then the crazy stuff, which is all of my parallel effects. All of my sends basically, but they're all done here. So I'm always gonna do a hall and a mono plate. So I put a utility after my super plate and make it mono. It gives it its room in the middle, and then the hall gives it its width. A slap delay gives a little bit extra.
Good morning to you, dear. I said hello, good morning to you.
With the mono plate, just right in the middle.
Hello, good morning.
Slap
to you, dear. I said hello, good morning to you.
You notice a lot of them, it's my send, right? So they're 50% wet, but I'm turning the gain down on the actual channel itself. So it's just kind of mixing in underneath.
Hello, good
melodies.
morning to you, dear.
This is giving it that kind of like pitchy, but it's once again turned down. I just want it to be like a subtle ear tease, basically. And then a parallel compressor, basically just like squashes it on its own channel and balances the volume. Now on all of it, on the effects group, I put a soothe on the vocals. So basically what's happening is, and it's sidechained to the vocals themselves. So basically in the main character part of my voice, like in the clarity range and the weight to my voice down here, I have it on mid mode, so it's basically sidechaining all of the effects in here. It's basically allowing my voice to just pop up over top of it while the effects stay underneath. So giving it a little bit more clarity to the raw original feeling of my voice. So anyway, that's basically it. All of the while I've been producing this record, which you didn't see unfortunately, is I'm referencing this reference track, which we played in the first one. It's called I Will Find You by Mathame if you want to hear it. And I'm paying very close attention to the instrumentation that he uses throughout, so I can kind of mimic it and then make it my own. I guess one other thing that might be pertinent to show you is the last thing that I did on the last time I opened this session, which was a few days ago, is I wanted to create some interest on the drop vocal versus these, because it is very robotic, so to speak. It's the same phrase happening the whole time. We have to find ways to make it more interesting. So something that's very popular in melodic house and techno music is adding that kind of stutter, like from stutter house, stutter effects to the vocals. So basically I've done that here with Ableton's auto pan, and here's some of my automation lanes. So after it goes like this,
Good morning to you.
you'll hear it start stuttering.
Hello, good morning to you, dear. I said hello, good morning to you.
So it's basically just automated on the amount of the auto pan. I've already set it where I want it. A lot of the times I'll take my MIDI keyboard and map a fader to the amount knob and the rate knob, and you do that by hitting Command M, clicking, and then once, if your MIDI keyboard is plugged in, you touch that knob and then it's mapped to it. So then you can get some more, I don't want to use the term analog, but more real control, as if you were mixing it yourself. So you can just run over it and over it, and you're playing with the amount and you're playing with the rate, and you're going to get these unique effects that feel like they were played and humanized, as opposed to just like programming it this way. But yeah, a neat little trick that you can do. Something to point out, as it sounds like this now, at the end of every group channel, and sometimes the actual channel itself, I'm throwing my limiter on it to catch all the peaks in 1-to-1 mode. So it's keeping the volume the same while catching the peaks. And that's how you're going to get it to be like this up here. So now, at this stage of the record, as I go into it, I'm going to sit here and play it quietly, loudly, mono on, mono off, and I'm paying very close attention to all of the sounds, all the instrumentation. Can I hear them all? Is the element that's supposed to be up front in your face there, or is it clashing with another lead element in the bass line? Is the kick and the bass clean? Is it clear? Can I hear it all? The drums and the hats, do they have do they feel tinny? Do they feel sharp? Do they feel harsh? Any of these things. Pads, are they too wide, or are they just right, or are they too narrow? And I'm paying attention to all of these things. And by the end of it, if you can say yes to all of those things and it looks great up here, you're laughing. And yeah, you're laughing, and the record's probably going to come out quite good. I won't go into the master chain here today. I have that planned for another video. We'll do a whole mastering chain so that you can see what that's like as well. So I'm not done this record. There will be a part 3, just tuning up the last little things and probably adding in a few more unique ear candies so that the track flows and it has its own uniqueness throughout the entire thing. So I think that'll do it here for part 2. And I do apologize once again that you didn't get the sessions in between, but I won't make that mistake again, I promise. So that'll do it here for this week's Self-Made Artist Series video. We have been making Melodic House Like Mathame from scratch with a new Orphan RC record called Hello Good Morning. It's likely going to come out on an EP of ours, which I won't tell you the name yet. I know that I went over this video really quickly, and there's a ton in here, obviously, that I didn't even touch, and I didn't even cover here for you. If there are specific things in this video that I glanced over really quickly and you were like, gee, I really wish that he went further in depth with that, please leave me a comment, and I'll do that. I'll do that specifically for you. So that's about it. If you've been liking the content here on this page, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe, hit the bell, hit all the things that you need to hit so yeah, you can become a self-made artist yourself. As you know by this point, it's more than just being an independent artist and taking the brand into your own hands. I preach and I teach doing all of these things so that you can become a creative director. You can become somebody who is self-sufficient and successful off your own art and your creative passions that allow you to help other people. And not just in music, we're talking about in the corporate world too, and in the business world, and anybody that has a brand. Then you can become a successful artist. That term means different things to different people. To me, it means doing creative things 24 hours a day, on my own time, on my own dollar. So if you want a life like that, hit us up. Hit us up on Instagram. Follow along with the YouTube channel. Connect with me. Say hi. I'm a person that wants to chat with you. So hope you enjoyed this week's video. We'll see you in the next week. Peace.